Hi children, today we are going to study Unit 13 Adverbs. So now what is an adverb? An adverb is a word that describes a verb, an adjective or another adverb. Example, she speaks slowly. Here the word slowly is an adverb. Second, he is so smart. Here so is the adverb. Third, they come very often. The word very is an adverb in this sentence. Now let's study the kinds of adverb. Moving to the first kind of adverb, adverb of manner, it describes how something happens. It answers the question how. This type of adverb is usually placed after the object of the verb. Example, she moved rapidly and picked up her child quickly. Here the words rapidly and quickly are adverbs. Second example, they whispered softly to each other. Here it's telling how they whispered, so the word softly is an adverb of manner. Second kind is adverb of place. Adverb of place describes where something happens, and most of the adverbs of place are usually placed after the main verb or after the object. Example, Sheila went inside. Here the word inside is denoting adverb of place. The kids went outside. Third example, let's go forward. So the word inside, outside and forward denote adverb of place. Now the third kind of adverb, that is adverb of time. Adverb of time describes when something happens. It tells us about time an action happened. Example, it's better for us to go now before it starts to rain. Second example, they left immediately after they received the call. Second thing is we use adverb of time to tell us when an event happened. They are also used to tell us how long an event lasted and how often it happens. Examples there are rarely, already and since. Moving to the next kind, adverb of frequency. It is used to describe how often something or an action happens. For example, never, occasionally and seldom. Secondly, it may indicate more precisely the number of times an action takes place. Example, twice, almost, etc. Other thing in adverb of frequency is that it may indicate something that takes place on a regular basis. Example, annually, fortnightly. And examples of adverb of frequency commonly used are always, often, sometimes, never, every, rarely, usually, seldom, frequently, etc. Moving to now adverb of degree. It answers the question to what degree. It provides information about the degree to which something happens or is done. Example, totally, almost. Secondly, it may tell us more about other adverbs. Example, very slowly, rather loudly, etc. Adverb of degree can be formed from adjectives that emphasize something such as totally, entirely, completely, utterly. And lastly, some examples of adverbs of degree are much, most, least, worst, etc. Coming next to interrogative adverbs, a question word like why, where, when, how that asks a question whose answer will be an adverb is denoted as an interrogative adverb. Moving to next, adverb of affirmation. Now these adverbs show that the speaker is absolutely sure something will go the way they say it will. Example can be yes, surely, certainly, definitely, etc. And adverbs of negation, these are negatives and are completely opposite from affirmation. They show that the speaker doesn't believe there is any chance will go the way they say. Example, any, never, no, not. Moving next to adverb of exclamation, and the words how and what are used as an exclamatory adverbs like how clever he is or how nice you are or what a hilarious comedy. Moving to the next, relative adverbs. Relative adverbs are used to connect, relate, refer to the subordinate clause to the main part of the sentence. Like the relative pronoun, they join two portions of a sentence together. Relative adverbs are where, when, why. Now students, I hope all the kinds are clear to you. Now we'll move further to the formation of adverbs. The first formation goes as when we add ly to the adjective. Example, for the adjective bad, we add ly to form adverb, that is badly. Second, bright, then it goes as brightly. And third, brave, it goes as bravely. The next formation goes as if the adjective ends with y, then we change the y to I and add ly to it. Examples, busy, busily, easy, easily, happy, happily. Thirdly, if the adjective ends with le, then e changes to y. Example, gentle, gently, noble, nobly, suitable, suitably. Lastly, certain adverbs have got the same form as adjectives. Example, high, it will be high only. Fast, it will be fast. Hard, it will be hard only. Moving now to comparison of adverbs. Children, we already know the 3 degrees of comparison, that is positive, comparative and superlative degree. In positive, where only one person or thing is described, comparative, where 2 things or people are compared, and in superlative, where 3 or more things or people are compared. Example, as you can see in the image, big, bigger and biggest. The short adverb form the comparative and superlative by addition of er and est to the positive. Example, hard, harder, hardest, fast, faster, fastest, loud, louder, loudest. Now second is adverbs which end in ly take more in comparative and most in superlative. Example, happily, it's ending with ly, so it will be more happily, most happily. Painfully, more painfully, most painfully. Greedily, more greedily, most greedily. Softly, more softly, most softly. Thirdly, some adverbs form their comparative and superlative degrees in an irregular manner. Example, well, better, best, badly, worse, worst, little, less, least. Now, some adverbs are there like now, then, once, there, where, why, how, not, never, and ever. They cannot be compared and hence they do not have the 3 degrees of comparison. We'll move to the next topic in adverbs now, that is position of adverbs. The first one, adverbs of manner, place and time are placed after the verb if the verb is intransitive and after the object if the verb is transitive. Example, in first and second sentence, the verbs are intransitive, so it's being used after the verb. And in the third sentence, it's transitive sentence, so it's used after the object. The second one now, for emphasis, adverbs of time may be placed in the beginning of the sentence also. Now here for emphasis, that means when we pay stress to. Example, we went to the museum yesterday. Now if you want to pay stress on the adverbs, especially on the time, so the sentence can go as yesterday we went to the museum. Third, sometimes adverbs of manner are placed after the verb if the verb is, are, am, was, were, or will be. Second, between the subject and the verb if the verb consists of one word. Third, after the first word if the verb consists of more than one word. And fourth, before the verbs have to and used to. For these you can look in the book on page number 112 for the examples. The fourth one, when an adverb modifies an adjective or another adverb, it is placed before the adjective or the adverb. Example, the bride looked very beautiful. Beautiful is an adjective here and you can see an adverb is placed before it. Secondly, they agreed to plan quite happily. Now the word happily is an adverb and we have placed an adverb there to modify it, that is the word quite. Fifth one, The adverb enough is always placed after the word it modifies. Example, she is intelligent enough to understand the problem. Second, the teacher spoke loud enough to be heard by everybody. As you can see, the word enough is placed after the word it modifies. Sixth one now, the word only should be placed immediately after the word it modifies. And you notice how in the following sentences the meaning changes on changing the position of the word only. Example, only he promised to give me books. Now here only he and nobody else. Second, he only promised to give me books. It means that he promised but he didn't give. The third sentence, he promised to give me only books. In this sentence, the books only are there and nothing else. Moving now to the seventh one. When there are two or more adverbs after a verb, the normal order is adverb of manner, then adverb of place, and then adverb of time. Example, she sang sweetly in the concert last evening. Now here you can see sweetly is adverb of manner, then adverb of place is added there in the concert, and then adverb of time, that is last evening. Coming to the second example, the train arrived at the platform at 6 p.m. Now, at the platform is adverb of place, so it is placed first as we don't have any adverb of manner. And secondly, at 6 p.m. we have placed adverb of time. I hope now the position of adverbs is clear. We'll move to now the correct use of certain adverbs. Now here as we can see fairly and rather. The use of fairly. Fairly is used in a moderate sense before the adjectives and is used in good sense. Example, he is fairly well, the weather is fairly fine, your story is fairly interesting. And we use rather, it is used in the moderate sense before the adjectives and is used in the bad sense. Example, Ram is rather hopeless, the weather is rather bad, the description of the incident is rather boring. Second, very and much. Very is used with adjectives or adverbs in the positive degree. Secondly, it is used with present participles. And thirdly, we don't use it with the words like afraid, obliged, alike, etc. Much is used with comparative degrees. It is used with past participles and it can be used with the words like afraid, obliged, alike, etc. Moving now to the third one, to. The word to suggests excess of some kind. It's more than what is desirable, natural, or proper, and it should not be used instead of very or much. Secondly, to generally has a negative sense and is then followed by an infinitive. Example, I am too tired to walk further. It means that I am so tired that I cannot walk further. Moving to the fourth one, that is enough. Enough means sufficient. It is always used in the positive sense and it is placed after an adjective or an adverb but before a noun. Example, she is old enough to go alone. Here, enough is used after an adjective. Second sentence, she ran fast enough to overtake me. Here, enough is used after an adverb. And third, there is enough food for both of us. Here, it's being used before a noun. Fifth, quite. Quite means completely, entirely, or fully. It does not mean very. It is used with adjectives that do not have a comparative and superlative degree. It's used with other adjectives or adverbs, and quite means to a fairly great extent or to a greater extent than average. So children, now I hope the adverbs is clear to you.